What is up, guys? Brian here, out hunting mushrooms around on government land. It's just an absolutely beautiful day. And it's good to have a day like this in the Midwest. It's just been so rainy, cold, windy, and all that, but we need the rain for the mushrooms to come up. So let's talk about the strategic defaults that are coming for both businesses, real estate investors, people who hold credit card debt, auto loans. Bubba with his monster truck, he's going to default. We knew he was. He couldn't afford it. So, let's talk about all that. Let's talk about Bitcoin shooting up, what I think about that. I'm actually really blown away that it shot up that much. But, at the end of the day, some people think I sold all my crypto. No, I just basically hedged my bets as the thing was going up to peg to the US dollar because I think that that's the safe haven in the short term over the next 2, 3, 4 months. And so I'm going to USDC for the most part. And as things go up, I've got certain price points that I'm kind of ticking off. I know that when Bitcoin shoots up and people start reaching out to me that I haven't heard from for a while, and they say, hey man, look at Bitcoin, look what it's doing, what's going on with this, should I buy some? That's my indicator that it's overbought, that they're always coming in at the wrong time, they're always contacting me at the wrong times. That's typically when it's overbought. So it's just an indicator things are getting kind of a little overheated, people getting excited about a pump. And we have these short squeezes and stuff. And with these leverage trading platforms, see, back if you go back 2013, 2014, it was always said that over time this will become less volatile. Well, it's not really the case because we have these leverage trading platforms leveraging out not just like 5x, 10x, we're talking 125x, 200x, these kind of things. And it is what it is, guys. So this is just hyper volatile. People just kind of almost gambling, and you can kind of do different predictions and say, hey, is it because people aren't able to gamble in Vegas, they're jumping into Bitcoin now and they're trying to ride this all over the place? And there could be some of that. There could be people thinking, well, okay, the Fed printer's going so they think there's going to be a safe haven, there's going to be immediate inflation. Even though we're in a deflationary event, things are becoming cheaper. There's an oversupply of so many different things. You can get things so cheap. Look at plane flights right now. If you're willing to fly, you can fly cheap. Get Airbnb super cheap. Look in these different cities. You can ball out right now. But right now, most people feel that it's not safe to travel. Myself, this coming Monday will be 1 month since I have been to any kind of store or anything. I have the means to just shelter in place. I've got lots of space to kind of roam around on, and there's no reason for me to go out and risk this. Now, it's very interesting the way people are treating this. Typically, if they're right leaning, kind of vote Republican, a lot of times they're almost acting like this isn't a big deal, or it's a hoax, or they're healthy and they're not going to get it. It's not a big deal for them. And then the people who are more left leaning, then it kind of seems like they may be taking this a little more serious. And the people that are libertarian are more looking at this from a privacy, a censorship, a human rights kind of, or just kind of like social rights kind of situation. I kind of more look at it like that, but also I don't want to get this. And that should tell you something. I know 3 people who have gotten this now, and and these guys were healthy guys, 20s and 30s. And the common trend is basically that they had a very, very lingering cough that wouldn't go away, even out clear to like a month and a half. And you don't know what kind of thing this is going to do to someone's immune system over time, or if it's going to partially destroy someone's lungs or any kind of lasting effects of this. So we just don't know. Hopefully we know more in the next month or two, and hopefully there are more treatments that are out there being tested, and we do come up with some solutions and more testing so that if I do get sick or you get sick, then you've got a better chance of fighting this and kind of knowing, you know, proper procedures. And also that, there's more protective equipment and stuff for frontline medical workers so that they're not getting other people sick and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at the trends, we have these days, it's typically 28 to 32,000 new cases a day. It seems to be kind of holding around that. And you'll have these days that are 22, 2,300, 2,500 deaths in a day. And it is not slowing down. It's not going to wait for you. And, I don't know, it's knocking on your door. And there's even situations where, there's a meat plant, basically they had 900 cases just yesterday, and this is like 20 miles from my parents' house, and they decide, well, that's over there, that's not over here, that doesn't have anything to do with us. And that's just kind of the mentality of people, and a lot of it lies on where their investments are. If they're invested in real estate, if they're invested in the stock market, then they tend to kind of act like this isn't a big deal. We need to start this stuff back up right now, because they're fearful that their investments are going to go down, or that this thing is going to like blow up in their face. Myself, I am hedged in the US dollar, and I'm hedged, I have crypto. So I don't have real estate right now. I don't have auto loans. I don't have, let's see what else. I don't have stocks and options right now. So I can sit back and I can wait for opportunities to buy stuff up cheaply. And I have kind of time on my side. I have the resources to kind of wait things out and over time. Now, keep in mind that in the last boom and bust cycle, in the real estate boom bust cycle in '08, you had a lot of strategic defaults in states like Nevada, Arizona, California, Florida, where if it was purchase money loans in Arizona, you could walk away from it. And then if the bank, let's say you bought the house for $250,000 and the bank only sold it for $200,000 in foreclosure, then you didn't have to pay back that $50,000 spread. It was forgiven. You could walk away from it. You could rebuild your credit, and boom, you could be back in a house. And a lot of people just walked away from their houses like that strategically. People are going to do that. Their strategic defaults are going to come, whether it's from vacation rental people who have Airbnbs, whether it's people with auto loans, whether it's students with student loan debt that couldn't get a job because the economy shut down. They're going to defer their student loans, defer them. You're going to have that bubble burst. You're going to have credit card debt. Credit cards are already clinching up the limits. I mean, I already predicted that. That's what happened back in '08, '09. Suddenly you think, oh, you got this credit line. Without announcement, you're clinched up. Caught you in a snare like a little rabbit. And it just chokes people off. So that's going to happen more and more. You're going to have businesses that are strategically going to go ahead and file bankruptcy. So looking back in the '08 cycle, there was trouble in the waters in '07. Then there were stimuluses and stuff that went out, but ultimately it went through the summer, and then in September '08, the thing just broke loose and it went straight down like a guillotine, and that's when the crash happened. But it wasn't until about June of '09 when General Motors filed for bankruptcy, and it went to zero. The stock went to zero bid. So you're going to see that. It's going to play out over a long time if this thing unravels like it looks like it is. The virus is not slowing down, guys. And the unfortunate thing is we're censored, and we're having to talk in code and talk in pig Latin and stuff to kind of get the message out and what our thoughts are on this. But this thing is not going to slow down. And I know a lot of people want to reopen, and I would be best off if it reopened up as well. I mean, I got the baseball team and stuff, and we want to play, and it's really messed up a lot of things for me. But in the same respect, you kind of have to roll with the punches. And at the end of the day, just thinking about with this thing, like, how could you even orchestrate it, for instance, with no fans in the stadium? The MLB is trying to go to basically a 3-division model, 10 teams in each division. So to cut down on travel and play with no fans, and basically the Giants and the A's would play each other, as well as the Angels and the Dodgers would play each other and stuff like that. And so it'd make it interesting stuff. Again, that's just a proposal. But how are they going to get that to fly? I mean, you saw the beaches in California opened up and they closed down within a few days. So it's just like things are going to open and close like that, and you got to protect yourself. But we are going to see these strategic defaults are going to pop up. It's a legitimate excuse to kind of throw in the towel, because this cough is not going to go away. I almost think the best case for people is just to kind of, get out in places like this, stay away from other people, plant gardens, go to the beaches around Lake Michigan or the Great Lakes, or, go to these kind of untapped beaches that aren't the crazy heavy beaches and stuff, and just kind of get out. But a lot of stuff's closing down, you know. It's like you can't get out there, you're not supposed to. Around here you can kind of get into stuff, but it is going to be tough now with Bitcoin shooting up like this. I just can't foresee this being a sustained rally. You know, everybody's kind of FOMOing in. Even my dad was asking me about the halvening because he was getting newsletters and crap like that in the mail. But that's your indicator. When people that don't really know much about it and they're getting excited about it, you know, that's maybe your indicator that things are kind of overbought or it's overplayed. And then it's just like, okay, well, when it's past the point, what does that do? Again, I don't really know. I was really surprised about this surge, but you know, maybe big whales, they saw weakness in how many people had short positions against Bitcoin, and then they decided, hey, let's create a short squeeze and we can push it up to that level, and then it's going to set off a chain reaction and create a short squeeze, and it's going to shoot on up. They might be able to kind of see that. You know, I just don't really know. Either way, you know, it's been tracking along the stock market so heavily, and most people would agree that that it's tracking along the stock market. Then they would agree that the stock market is probably gonna pop from here, that it's probably not gonna just like shoot to all-time highs and that everything's back to normal. But again, I've been surprised. I've been seeing people say, oh, this is a hoax and this isn't any more infectious than the flu, which is totally against any of the data. And I know 3 people who have gotten this, once again, and it's just one of those things that it isn't like, oh, I don't know anybody who's gotten this, and nobody's known anybody who's gotten this and stuff like that. That's not really the case. So I don't know what to tell you guys as far as that, but you know, this is going to draw out over a very long time. I think if people hedge their bets, they're going to be able to get some stuff very cheaply. You look at Airbnb. These Airbnb hosts have basically leveraged out. And, you know, about a third of them have over 25 properties. And some of that was the lending was based off of potential earnings of those properties. So they kept kind of like stacking. And then once like nobody's traveling, boom, they're done. They're immediately finished. They're going to end up getting foreclosed on. They can't pay mortgages, and there's going to be that kind of excess inventory floating around there. And then over time, people are going to get more scared. The real estate market dips a little bit, and then they're like, "Well, shoot, I don't want to get caught up in this. Let's sell this. Let's get it moving. Let's cut the price by $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, or let's get this out of here." And then it just kind of slides down. If a real estate agent is telling you that everything's fine, this is a fine time to buy, there's no issue and stuff, they're liars. They've always had a conflict of interest. Don't trust a real estate agent. I hate to say that, but it's just the case. They get paid, you know, in a conflict of interest scenario, and you know, they're going to try to protect their own assets, just like a lot of these people that are invested in the stock market. Depending which way they're betting, they're going to tell you, oh, this is a big deal or this isn't a big deal. You have to look where people's investments lie. Right now, I'm in the US dollar and I'm in crypto, and crypto shoots up, car doors are open vertically. If things crash down, I end up with more. I wait it out, car doors open vertically. What do you guys think? What are you buying? Do you think everything's going to crash? And how long is that going to take to play out? Hit the like button, hit subscribe. And are you guys finding any more mushrooms? See you guys later.